Hello, everybody. Is everybody still here? Everybody with me? Yeah, cool. 4 o'clock. Lots of good presentations throughout the day. So I'm very glad to be here. My name is Niko Schröer, as introduced. I work at Google. I work in the business development team for Google Play, to be very precise. So in my day-to-day job, I work with Android app developers to help them optimize the app experience they build across the whole Android universe. So while this is historically a lot about smartphones and tablets, over the last year, obviously, we launched TV and Wear and Auto, and we've worked with developers to optimize for all of this. And now it's actually a lot about VR. So we work with developers on optimizing the experiences for the new VR platform we launched, which is called Daydream. So I want to take the next 15 minutes to give you a sneak peek into the things Google is doing in VR. Before I do that, let's very quickly get some basics straight. So there's a lot of different terms and a lot of different things in the kind of broader field of VR, AR. There's mixed reality, there's VR video, there's 360 media, right? All of these are super exciting things, and they all are there in their own right. Google is involved in many of them, but I specifically want to focus on the things we're doing in virtual reality today, because it's become such a hot topic. Technically, going back a couple of years, it's been around for quite a while, right? If you probably looked at pictures of your museum in the 50s, a technology museum, you might have seen something like the Sensorama on the right. If you were an advanced kid in the 60s, you might have had the chance to play with the Viewmaster, which launched in 1962. So they weren't really VR devices as we kind of refer to them today, but in a way, the idea of kind of immersing yourself into something and teleporting you was already there. So the idea isn't really new. The idea of VR isn't really new, right? What is new is that it's mobile-centric today. What is also new is how immersive it's become. So how good is the VR experience nowadays? I'm pretty sure throughout the day you've tried all the various VR stands out there, so you have a good idea. One of the tests apparently our engineers in the VR team in Google do in Mountain View is that they put somebody a VR headset on and they give them an experience where they stand on a diving board and they ask them to jump. And apparently many can't do it. I certainly wouldn't be able to do it because I'm really afraid of heights. So what's exciting about VR and this generation of mobile VR is how it can trick your mind into being somewhere else. It's mental teleportation, and that's just really cool to work with developers and creating experiences for that. The first VR product that Google launched was obviously Google Cardboard. I'm pretty sure most of you have experienced Google Cardboard. Quick show of hands. Who has used Google Cardboard? Yeah, that's a good share. That's what I expected. Another quick show of hands. For whom was it the first experience in VR? Cool. It certainly was for me and many friends and family and business partners that I showed it to. So, as some of you may know, Cardboard actually launched as a so-called 20% project at Google. An engineer in the Google Paris office looked at the VR headsets that were out in the market at that, like 3 years ago, roughly, and he realized that actually his smartphones has a lot of the sensors and things that a good VR headset has as well. So he came up with the idea of building something out of a cardboard. And this prototype he built really based our emphasis on mobile VR. Because mobile VR really takes advantage of what your phone is really good at, having all the sensors and the computing power you have already with you. So it's really easy, it becomes very easy to experience bite-sized VR from just the phone in your pocket and the actual View device or the cardboard. So from the prototype that we introduced to the world at Google I/O 2014, to millions of cardboard in like all forms and shapes, as you see on the screen, it's become a real big success for Google and I think for VR overall, because so many people were actually able to experience it that way in a very, very easy and affordable way. You can even go and build your own cardboard. If you go to the website of Cardboard, there is the technical specification to build your own. So it's really accessible. Overall, this goal of making VR accessible was very successful, as I mentioned. There have been over 5 million cardboards distributed since the launch, and over 50 million installs of cardboard-specific apps have been made from Google Play. So you can imagine the reach this has gained. This was also due to some cool partnerships. You may have seen what the New York Times did in 2015. They basically sent 1 million cardboards to their subscribers and launched their VR app in parallel, where they released serialized content that you can consume on their app with cardboards. It worked so well for them in May 2016, they actually shipped another 300,000 cardboards. Or for the geek in us, there was a really cool Star Wars collaboration, Star Wars and Disney. For The Force Awakens, they actually released these cardboards in 4 unique designs that produced some kind of serialized content that went with the movie. And then they gave out these cardboards to, I guess, some hardcore fans when they premiered the film at Sydney Opera. So all of this is really cool, but I think it's pretty clear that VR has so much more opportunity and there's so much more potential. So we went ahead and launched another VR platform at I/O this year, which is called Google Daydream. So the idea behind Google Daydream, which actually officially launched in Germany as one of 6 countries 12 days ago, the 10th of November, is to build a kind of high-end mobile VR platform at the scale of Android. So what does it mean? Let me quickly dive into what this platform consists of. As I like to say, there are 3 pillars that the platform is made of. First of all, there's high-end mobile devices, so your phone. The first phone we launched that is Daydream certified is the Google Pixel and the Pixel XL. The second piece is the hardware, the Daydream View. That's the headpiece you actually put on. And the third piece is the content that developers are creating for this platform. So the approach here really is, for now, other way around. For now, this is really single devices when it comes to the smartphones that work with it and the headsets that you have to use. But the idea is really to create a platform and an ecosystem. So every Android manufacturer in the future will be able to, when they launch a new high-spec Android smartphone, to get it Android Daydream certified. So that over time there will be more phones you can use. And the same is true for the View, for the headsets. You can build it after the specs that are available. And then obviously the content partnerships. We're working with many of the Android developers that we have been successfully engaged with over years to also bring their content and bring their games onto the Daydream platform. So to give you a quick idea and to kind of emphasize how mobile is at the core, you see the headset from the top view right now. You basically take your phone, you slip it in. The phone, as I said, it needs to be a high-spec phone. Why is that important? Because a good experience really relies on good computing power, low latency graphics, and really good sensors, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really transport the experience, and actually the threat of getting motion sickness is much higher. So it needs to be a really powerful phone, which goes into the headset. When it comes to the design, we try to innovate as well. If you look at the device closely, you will see there's not much plastic on the outside. It's actually made out of fabric, so it's really comfortable to wear on your head. Some more close-ups on how it's built, because the point is what we want to get to people. We want to make it very easy for them to enjoy content for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and therefore the device needs to be comfortable. You need to feel well when you're wearing it. And then it comes with this is how you slip in the phone, obviously. And then it comes with a controller. So the controller adds to the immersiveness, because if you only put on the headset and you only view, it's really hard to interact. The controller, it's a bit smaller than this, we were missing in the beginning. Basically lets you interact and make it really immersive, and I will show you an example. So in order for it to not go missing, like with my presentation, they came up with a really cool thing. The moment the phone is not in the Daydream View, you can actually slip the controller right in, and it hopefully doesn't get lost like the remote here at home. So now that the idea of the hardware is clear, Oh yeah, and all this retails in Germany for 69 euros. So if you have the high-end smartphone, you can basically get into all these great experiences for a really affordable price. So now that you have all the hardware that's up and running and it's working, the most important piece, I guess, is the content and the developers that deliver the content on the platform. So this is what a user sees after they put on the device. We have worked with a bunch of partners to actually make their content available on Daydream. So again, this is the start screen. This is what you see. You can then select an experience. And to give you an idea of the catalog that's already available, one of the key things we want users to be able to do is explore new worlds. So you can use Google Street View or the content of The Guardian, CNN, Wall Street Journal, and actually 2 German partners that are launching, I think today or tomorrow, to explore these new worlds. To give you an idea, this is how Google Street View looks. So if you haven't had the pleasure to go to one of these places, you can really immerse yourself in going there. I personally have been to Machu Picchu a couple of years ago, so I choose Taj Mahal. And this is then what it looks like, right? So you're basically walking in the place before it, and the controller lets you shift positions and so on. The second key pillar of content that we are building this on is your personal cinema. So obviously we brought YouTube, Google Play Movies to the platform, but we also work with HBO, Netflix, and we are working with many more partners to make their movies, their storytelling available on Daydream. To give you a quick idea of what YouTube looks like, it was actually redesigned from the ground up. This is the point where I really urge you to try it, because yes, it looks cool on the screen, but if you select one of the 360 immersive experiences, then it quickly looks like that. You basically go diving with sharks without getting wet. So pretty cool overall, but again, much cooler if you actually experience it. But that's a very cool way to show also. You remember the second slide I had in the beginning when I said there's many different ways around this topic. This is actually where 360 or VR video then comes into virtual reality, and you use the virtual reality experience to watch the 360 video content that's available on YouTube already, for example. Last but not least, the platform is supposed to be a lot of fun. So we're working with a lot of game developers to bring their games to the platform as well. There have been some really, really cool examples. Again, it's something where I urge you to try it out. The hardware and everything is available in the market. So go check it out. It's really amazing. This was a quick overview. Obviously, there's much more we are planning on doing. Obviously, it's quite clear that the possibilities, especially when it comes to the content of what could be experienced on the platform, is much bigger than what I showed you. But again, we started 12 days ago. We are speaking to many, many partners in the market. We are working on making the catalog bigger. And I guess it's always kind of hard to predict where it goes, so I refrain from it. But I'm really curious to see where the demand of users and the imagination of developers, what you can do on VR on a platform that will hopefully scale successfully as we intend to, where all of this will take us. Thank you very much. If you have questions, I'm going to be in the speaker's corner. You also have my details. Feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.